Hello guys, welcome to my channel Chem Insider. So in today's video we are going to discuss about certain chemical properties of haloalkanes and certain haloarenes. Haloarenes we are going to discuss it about later of the part. First we'll just discuss about certain properties of haloalkanes. For the properties of haloalkanes, one thing we have to remember is the halo groups, that is the halogens present on the alkyl groups, are a good leaving group. So what do you mean by good leaving group is, if you consider for a chloride halogen bond with carbon, let us say this is CX bond with carbon and halogen, since it is completely polar and halogens are electronegative atoms which has 3 lone pair of electrons, they drag the electron of the bonds towards themselves, creating a slight delta positive charge on carbon. This we called as plus I effect, right? So when there is a certain amount of nucleophiles, that is certain electron rich species such as like OH minus or CN minus. So if there are certain electron rich species present, or we are treating those electron rich species with this carbon and halide compounds or haloalkanes, what happens is the lone pair of the electron rich species attacks the carbocation which is having a slight delta positive charge. This makes the halogen to be leaving the reaction site. Hence, these halogens are said to be a better leaving group. So, the reason for this to be a better leaving group is it is highly electronegative when compared to carbon, and further they are not quite stable with a minus charge when compared to the other electron rich species, and they are highly basic when compared to OH minus and CN minus. Okay, so this is the reason why halogens are always called a better leaving group. So this complete concept is nothing but the nucleophile attack on a carbocation. Is also, since we substitute halogen with a nucleophile, we also call these reactions as nucleophilic substitution reaction. Nucleophilic substitution reaction. So what we do is, we always substitute a nucleophile instead of halogen for the chemical properties to be explained of haloalkanes. In order to explain the haloalkanes chemical property, the complete each other process of haloalkane chemical properties involves nucleophilic substitution. That is because once the halogen is completely removed or leaving the complete site of the reaction, we have a delta positive charge which is C plus, and it has to be reacting with the electron rich species because the C plus is electron deficient species. Okay, so we now have to discuss certain reactions of this nucleophilic substitutions on halogen carbon. Okay, we have about 11 reactions. We'll discuss few in this class and certain few in the next class. So first we are going to discuss is about to start with the basics, that is action of potassium hydroxide, or we also call them as alkalis. Action of alkali. So first reaction is action of alkali on haloalkanes. Alkalis are nothing but the hydroxides formed by alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Like for example, it might be KOH or it might be NaOH. Usually we consider KOH for the reactions with halogens, not NaOH that much. So now what happens when we treat alkalis such as potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide with haloalkanes? So haloalkanes, when treated with potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide, we observe the nucleophilic substitution, that is the OH minus ions of KOH gets binded with the carbon and the halogen leaves the reaction site, and that later reacts with the potassium ion to form potassium iodide, and whereas we form a pure alcohol compound as a main product, RCH2OH. So this is the reaction or action of alkali on haloalkane. That is, when we treat a potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide alkali with haloalkane, the nucleophile OH minus ion attacks the carbon, which results in halogen being left as halide, which later reacts with potassium to form potassium halide, and as a main product we get alcohol, which is primary. Certain, if you are using a secondary haloalkane, we will prepare secondary alcohol. If you use tertiary haloalkane, we will prepare tertiary alcohol. Okay, so now for the examples, Example, let us say CH3, CH2, Cl is treated with potassium hydroxide. So on treating these two, we get CH3, CH2, OH along with KCl. So this is called ethanol, alcohol molecule of ethane, and this is chloroethane. So this is the reaction of alkali on haloalkane. Next, we will discuss the action of solvation on nothing but a water molecule. Action of water on haloalkane. Action of water. Action of water. This reaction is also called solvolysis. That is because water is the solvent of halogen compounds and they further break down the bonds of halogen. Lysis means breaking of a bond. Solvo means dissolving the compound. So solvolysis means we have to break the bond of carbon and halogen and we have to observe the solvation or solution of a compound form. So this solvolysis is performed only with the tertiary haloalkane. That is because H2O molecule, when compared to other basic alkalis, if you write H2O as HOH, when compared to KOH or NaOH, is less basic. H2O is, when compared to KOH or NaOH, is less basic. Therefore, the nucleophile formed by the water molecule is not that strong. So the nucleophile formed by the water molecule is not that strong nucleophile. Therefore, this reaction can happen only if there is a tertiary haloalkane present. So let us consider RCRCl, and we are treating them with water molecule. That is nothing but H and OH. We get R, C, R, and OH in the form of HCl. So this reaction happens if there is presence of haloalkane used, which is tertiary. Okay, it does not react with, this reaction does not take place with primary or secondary haloalkane. So therefore, for example, let us consider CH3, C2H5, CH3, Br. We can take an example of bromine. Treating with water molecule, we get C2H5, CBr, CH3 and CH3 along with HBr. So this is the reaction or action of water, which is also called solvolysis of water with tertiary haloalkane. Remember, this reaction takes place only for tertiary haloalkane but not for secondary or primary. Next we are going to discuss is about reaction of sodium alkoxide or any alkoxide. Next is the third reaction, that is action of alkoxide on haloalkanes. So alkoxides are the compounds which are formed by sodium hydroxide, something like that. So instead of taking alkali, we are treating alkoxide. Alkoxides are the compounds which are formed when alkyl halides are treated with sodium hydroxide, where we get RONA type of compounds. So let us consider alkoxide of sodium, that is sodium alkoxide. When sodium alkoxide is treated with haloalkanes, let us say RCH2X with NaOH, we prepare alcohol. Sorry, not NaOH, NaOR. So this is alkoxide. NaOR is alkoxide. So when we treat sodium alkoxide with haloalkane in the presence of dry ether, we prepare reaction where sodium halide is completely removed and we create a bond of carbon and oxygen which already has a carbon in it. So this type of compound, that is RCH2OR, is called ether compound. These compounds are called ethers. That is, if your compound has oxygen which is bonded with two different carbon atoms, then those compounds are called ethers. This forms along with NaX. So this is the reaction. This reaction is also called Williamson's ether synthesis. This reaction is also called Williamson's ether synthesis. Williamson's ether synthesis. Since ether in the presence of alcohol. So, when we treat alkyl halide or haloalkane with sodium alkoxide, we get ether along with NaX. For example of this reaction, let us consider CH3Cl with NaOC2H5. So this is sodium ethoxide. We call it as sodium ethoxide. When we treat sodium ethoxide with methyl chloride or chloromethane, we prepare CH3OC2H5. This is ethyl methyl ether along with NaCl. So this is the reaction of Williamson's ether synthesis. So that is, when we treat haloalkane with sodium alkoxide in the presence of ether or in presence of alcohol, we prepare ether which has oxygen binded with two different carbon atoms. Okay, so this is about the action of sodium alkoxide and haloalkanes. Next we are going to discuss is about action of ammonia. Next is fourth reaction, action of ammonia NH3. So for the action of ammonia, we have a process where ammonia reacts with haloalkane to liberate hydrogen halide and form amine. Ammonia, let us write the reaction, RCH2Cl, when treated with ammonia, it has lone pair of electrons on nitrogen. This lone pair of electrons first attacks the CH2 carbon and then this removes the chlorine atom, which later in turn reflects over the HCl. So therefore first what it forms is, it forms a quaternary compound called ammonium alkyl salt, that is RCH2 NH3 plus Cl minus. So this is the compound initially formed, which is called the intermediate compound. This on heating loses a molecule of HCl and forms RCH2 NH2, that is nothing but amines. So ammonia reacts with alkyl halides. Ammonia reacts with alkyl halides in the presence of alcohol. To form an intermediate salt, which on heating forms primary amines. Further, this reaction takes place in several processes. If you are using excess amount of ammonia, if you are using excess amount of haloalkane, then this further reacts with one more molecule of RCH2Cl, and then again one hydrogen and chlorine will be replaced and forms RCH2NHCH2R. So in this, one hydrogen is again replaced by RCH2. Further, if you are using one more compound of RCH2Cl, that chlorine will also be replaced to form RCH2NCH2R, So this compound is called tertiary amine. So what we can say is, if you have excess amount of ammonia treating with haloalkane, the reaction just doesn't stop at forming a primary amine. It further continues to replace more amount of hydrogen with respect to RCH2 compounds and forms tertiary amine. So this is the action of ammonia on haloalkane. Ammonia, when treated with haloalkane in presence of alcohol, it replaces hydrogen of itself with alkyl groups such as RCH2 and forms primary amine, which on further treating with excess amount of alkyl halide or haloalkane forms a complete secondary amine and later a tertiary amine. So this is about the action of ammonia on haloalkane. Next we are going to discuss is about action of potassium cyanide on haloalkane. Next is the last reaction, last reaction of this video, in which we are going to discuss about action of potassium cyanide. Action of potassium cyanide. As I said earlier, cyanide is nothing but Cn minus ion, which is formed with the potassium. This is potassium cyanide, and we know Cn minus is an electron rich species. So what happens is, similar to the other nucleophilic reaction, when RCH2X is treated with potassium cyanide, we get cyanonitriles or cyanoalkane nitriles or cyanoalkane. So RCH2 loses a halogen atom which is attacked by a Cn minus ion on CH2. It forms RCH2Cn plus KX. So this is called cyanoalkane or alkyne nitrile. If you observe carefully, the number of carbon atoms present in the parent reactant and the number of carbon atoms present in the product are increased, right? So the number of carbon atoms here is less than 1 when compared to the product formed. So this compound involves in increasing the number of carbon atoms. That is, if you have to increase the homogeneity of this complete haloalkane, we can use this process for increasing the homogeneous groups. So for example, let us consider C2H5Cl plus potassium cyanide gives us C2H5Cn plus KCl. So this is the reaction in which cyanide group attacks the C2H5, cyanonucleophile attacks the C2H5 to form C2H5Cn. This C2H5Cn can also be named as ethane cyanide, ethyl cyanide. If you consider just C2H5 as our parent group, this is called as ethyl cyanide as common name, ethyl cyanide. If you have to provide its IUPAC name, this is called as 3 carbon atom species, therefore it is called propane nitrile. Propane nitrile. So if you have to name it in the IUPAC nomenclature, first you need to calculate the total number of carbon atoms. For that particular carbon atom number, you have to give its root word, and you should consider the nitrogen as nitrile. Okay, that gives us propane nitrile when we treat them with chloroethane. When we treat chloroethane with potassium cyanide, we can prepare ethyl cyanide, which is also called as propane nitrile. So this is all about for today's reactions of other actions of nucleophiles on haloalkanes. In the next class, we are going to discuss more about the actions of haloalkanes on action of other nucleophiles on haloalkane. If you have understood each and every reaction which I have explained, thank you for watching. And if you have got any doubt, please do comment down below, or you can mail those doubts to me. I can explain them to you. And if you do understand every concept, please share this among your friends so that they can get use of these videos and understanding the concept of organic chemistry. Because organic chemistry is a tougher concept when compared to all other like physical and inorganic, it might be useful as more they learn about reactions, it is quite easier for them to understand those concepts. Thank you.